Mm. Namaste, Galactic family. Welcome back to the channel, Indigo Angel. Come on into this dimension. Come on into this energy update and cosmic grid update that we're going to be doing today. A little mix of both. We're going to be covering the energies collectively, and we are going to be going over the United States grids according to some of the traumas, but also more so, I think my focus has shifted into the new earth and what we can kind of expect as we bring in the changes. As the United States is genuinely, we're the torch bearers, we're the uh, leaders of light, so to speak, on a global stage. And it's kind of an exciting time to be talking about all of this. We are in a Saturn retrograde, which is going to be shaking some stuff up for some of us. And we are heading into 4th of July, which is honestly, I think growing up has been one of my most favorite, times to celebrate, as I was always kind of a big fan of the fireworks when I was a little girl and stuff like that. Um, so I know for many of us that live here in the US that this holiday does actually mean something to us. I think it is kind of a significant time, even though it is a huge satanic looshing holiday. With all of the superficial behaviors and over excessive drinking and consumption and things like this. Um, but as we go deeper into the true meaning of it and the Declaration of our Independence that was signed in, essentially, I think that was, at the core of it was a true thing to celebrate at the time. But really, we're gonna kind of get into all of this. I have a deep dive planned for you guys and with you guys that I want to share all of this information. And Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Welcome, guys. Come on in. I hope you have your tea or your coffee or your mushroom coffee. I got mushroom coffee today, and it's so nice. Just drop a hello in the chat if you're joining me today. Let me know that you are here. You do have to be subscribed to the channel for at least 60 seconds to get into the chat. And be sure to put a like on this video, be sure to subscribe, be sure to hit the notifications bell so you can continue to get my updates. So yeah, so much right now. So much is going on, so much to get into. I think the dates that we have to genuinely remember are June 29th through November 15th. Because as we celebrate the 4th, we're going to be moving through, I think, a super significant event in the cosmos, and that is that Saturn has returned. Hey, Evie, that's right, Evie. Hey, girl. Yeah, Saturn has returned. Me and Evie were talking about this yesterday. Saturn well, it hasn't returned, it's retrograded. And it's going to be in retrograde from the 29th to November 15th. So I think it's going to offer some timelines of opportunity for some realignment. It's going to offer some karmic clearing. And I think it's also bringing forth some massive global Stargate activations at this time. We are really at the height of the cosmic alignment. We're at the height of the gate of man. We are at the height of aligning with the star systems of Sirius, which is set to really come in and actually, if it doesn't back up our sun, it like essentially replaces our sun. I know if you even look up into the sky, during the noontime, you can definitely see the Syrian solar sun. Like you can see the sun is actually blue. I don't know if anyone's noticed that the sun is blue. Hello, Peanut, ciao. Oh, I love that. Ciao. Yeah, checking in from Sussex. Wow, we are going to get into that a little bit as well with the royal family and the dragon lines. We're going to talk about that. So interesting. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Cat Cat. Hey, Cat Cat. Hey, Catherine. Canada in the house. Marsha Forbes. Hey, beautiful souls. Much love. Yeah, come on in. I'm so happy you are here. It's going to be a good live today. We got a lot to get into. I'm still trying to wake up just a little bit. My voice might sound a little bit scratchy. I was being a little I probably could have done the live a little later today, but you know what? I wanted to be productive today. I wanted to get up. I wanted to do a morning live. Still wanted to catch the morning vibe. I love morning time. So yeah, but major Orion Stargate activations. Um, this is, well, we're really aligned to Sirius. We're really aligned to Hydra as well. If you've been following my channel and listening to my Starseed story for some time, you'll know that I consider myself to be a Hydra Starseed. I have a 25-degree Cancer alignment in my moon position, which I do feel that the moon position, astrologically speaking, is very deeply telling of your starseed origin in so many ways. And so, yeah, I consider myself to be a Hydra starseed, uh, an ambassador of this nation, essentially. And I kind of, for a long time, I've brought a lot of messages forth from the Hydra collective, essentially the Hydra intelligence field, in terms of representing the demonization of the feminine here and kind of working on behalf of clearing this essentially for the collective. Um, Give me just 1 second, guys. I just have to text. Okay. Um, yeah, so Sirius, we're really aligned to Sirius, we're really aligned to Hydra. And really, Hydra has brought me into a lot of my uh, ancient Akashic records and memory regarding the seedings of Mu and the timelines of Mu and the motherlands of Mu and the places I've traveled in the grids to attune myself to this cosmic information. Really took me a lot to South America. A lot of the serpent cult mysteries are down there to be kind of revealed and brought forward, especially around Machu Picchu and a lot of the stargates down there, essentially, very connected to the sacral chakra. Um, but not only that, it's just brought forward a lot of my Mu records, essentially, and a lot of the creation history of woman. This is really what's connected to Hydra. It's an unknown collective, so to speak, in the fact that it's been demonized for thousands of years on this planet, but they've been here as one of the progenitors. But I think because of the Saturn retrograde, we're having a massive Orion Stargate activations. And so what I was picking up on and what we're going to kind of go over in terms of the grids today is which Orion Stargates are activating worldwide. I've been picking up on Zion, China. And I know that's not how you pronounce it. I think it's Shine China or Shine. I'm gonna slaughter this. I prefer to just say Zion. Um, Someone told me the other day how to pronounce it. Zion China. This is definitely an Orion Stargate location. I do believe it's an eighth dimensional Orion Stargate. And this one's really connected to the original Dragon lines. It's connected to the Dragon Defender mother grid inside of the Earth. It's connected to the original soul dragon lines, like the pure dragon lines essentially, but it is kind of sitting in the head of the dragon grid. But this one is really activating at this time and is really bringing forth a lot of the ancient Chinese like culture and inheritance and creation stories. I was seeing a lot of ley lines connect into the ancient cities and things like this during some planetary coordinate grid readings that I was doing. So essentially, that stargate is lit up at this time, really deeply bringing forth some deep Akashic dragon roots. We also have the Abadan Iran stargate as well. This is also an Orion stargate. This one is activating. This one is definitely an Odetocron reptilian Orion stargate. And Abadan Iran, this stargate is accredited to Ashana Dean's work. So this one you can find, I think Zion China and also Abadan Iran are both credited to this stargate system, like a planetary universal stargate system, 12 of them. There are two of the 12. And Abadan Iran is an Odetocron reptilian Orion stargate. I think it's also Draco Anunnaki Sumerian stargate as well. And this is a 10th dimensional stargate. This one really connects into the oversoul of the collective. And this one is holding a lot of stuck energies. I would say out of all of the collective planetary stargates that this one is probably the most blocked. And I don't think we talk about this ever. We never discuss Abadan Iran. But this one carries the most ancestral blockages, essentially. Just looking at the chat for just a moment. I'm a little all over the place this morning. I'm not gonna lie. Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone. Wow. Happy to be here. Hello, beloved Indy, everyone. Hi, Pia. Hi, David. In Phoenix or on Phoenix, the sun is so bright, white hot. I can't even turn to it when it is going down. You know, I was gonna do this update outside because you know how I love to be outside. But I just, as soon as I took my computer out there, I was like, nope, right back in the door. Not gonna happen. Way too hot. It's scorching. It's scorching. I have to tell you, this is my second summer down in Pensacola. By July and August, it is so hot. It is so hot that you literally cannot even go outside. Like you can't. You're hold on just a sec. One sec. I just have to text because my puppy's out there and he's going crazy right now. See if someone can come and get him. Okay. I'm Cappy, so Saturn is my usual ruler. I don't understand much about it, but I'm fascinated. Yeah, well, we're gonna get into this retrograde. Yes. Oh, yeah. Would love to look at the sun today, but in the UK it's gray and been rainy. No surprise here. Yeah, that's how it is over in the UK, isn't it? It's pretty dreary. I heard it's, yeah, I mean, I guess you really have to like the dreary weather to survive over there. That's pretty standard. What percentage of the time? Maybe drop it down in the comments. I know it's probably like what, 60% of the time, 70% of the time. How often is it overcasted and raining over there? I know it's quite a bit. Hey, Angel Lori. Oh yeah, good to see you, girl. 555 in the house. I think those are your numbers. Am I right? 555. Um, so yeah. Oh my goodness. Um, Orion Stargates. Let me stay on this. So the Abadan I ran, this 10th Stargate, it's really blocked collectively speaking within the shared collective monadic field. This is what I'm seeing that it's the most damaged Stargate. It needs the most repair. It needs the most rehabilitation. It's connected to some things in terms of the dark monetary system that we're going to go over today, connected to the US. It's really blocking things on a level of mother, father, God connection. I mean, when we talk about the collective really not being able to connect into source, I mean, this is the blocked Stargate and the planet that's causing that. Um, because it corrodes the mother and father arcing systems in the planet. And gosh, it's really connected to a lot of the dark things, human trafficking, sex trafficking, child trafficking, um, just the corruption within the monetary system, the value systems, the corruption of the value systems on the planet. It's just, yeah, it's flooded with, it's blocked. It's blocked. There's casted black magic spells running through I'm just kind of reading it right now. There are a lot of like, I see a lot of like racism codes, honestly, hatred codes, Nazism, Nazis. It's all like tied into this gate. It's like pulling a black sun wheel in it and through it. It's just, it's really something kind of crazy. So we're going to talk about how it's connected to the US grid work. The Gulf of Aden is another Orion Stargate that's activating right now. Now I know we're going into July, but the Orion gate system is really activated because of the Saturn retrograde. So this is really what is pulling through such a powerful Orion star. There's a lot of Orion outposts and command centers that are in the Saturn planetary body, essentially. Also, it's connected to the internal black tesseract cube matrix system that's connected to the war timelines of Atlantis and the planetary war history and the planetary overlord control systems and draconian systems. And there's a draconian outpost and command center in Saturn. So yeah, this really runs, if we're in a Saturn retrograde, you can bet your booty we're getting a massive Orion Stargate activation collectively running through the planet. So also the Gulf of Aden, this one, they're running the underwater Blackwater missions basically through the dark military. And this one is bringing through a lot of the royalty, Orion reptilian, Anunnaki royal reptilian bloodlines through. Um, it's just, yeah, that one's pretty crazy. That Gulf of Aden Orion Stargate is running a multi-network system through the Gulf of Aden and up the Red Sea and into Saudi Arabia, into the Anunnaki Stargate ports, into, all of the conflicts that we're seeing with Israel and Gaza. I mean, this is running out galactically through the Gulf of Aden Stargate. It's also, connected to what's going on with Dubai as well. You think about all of these Dubai, right? It's like our world summit place of meetings for presidents of worlds, basically, that are coming together in Dubai. So, I mean, this is how they're coming on and off the planet. They're coming through the Gulf of Aden, Blackwater, secret space programs, essentially, that are kind of like the Men in Black. I mean, really, like you see in the Men in Black where they have to check in with their galactic passport, so to speak, right? And they get checked in and through the planetary, what's it called? Uh, customs, essentially. Customs. Yeah. We have our galactic customs going on through the Gulf of Aden. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But I mean, that's a big one. I need to look into that one. I know there's a lot of piracy that goes on through that. And piracy itself, I do believe, is a technology or a concept that came from the Orion system. So when you see pirates and Pirates of the Black Sail, which is a show on Netflix we just started watching last night, thanks to my dear sister Missy Hill, who kind of gave me the recommendation. Um, Blackbeard and things like this, the actual pirate, like these are real famous pirates that left a dent on the world in terms of this. But they were from Orion. I mean, these are beings that came from the Orion system. Now, whether Blackbeard was an invader or whether he was a guardian from the Orion system, I mean, they get these real dark, shadowy, villainous type archetypes, but really, I think some of them were really fighting against the bad things that were going on. So a lot of the pirate history is very It's muddy waters. It's black water, right? So that's all technology that's running through the Gulf of Aden. That's very activated at this time. Very activated. Also, Saudi Arabia. I mean, Gulf of Aden connects us into Saudi, but Saudi Arabia itself is also an entrance point to the Saturnian black cube systems. We have some pretty famous monuments that are erected over there. I'm not going to say what they are, but I mean, they open up to the black cube Saturnian portal and wormhole, essentially, coming through the spike matrix, coming through the actual mechanics of the beast machine itself. And so I mean, they say Satan is in Saudi Arabia. I mean, this is really where the black hole system opens up to the WISA systems. Essentially, if you know about the WISA systems and you know about this cosmic philosophy, so to speak, that the Earth core is essentially enslaved into a black hole system. But this is definitely connected to the fall programming, the fall timelines, the descension timelines. It's not the entirety of existence, but these are things that do pull the phantom wool, so to speak, for the collective and pull those strings. We also have the Sarasota, Florida Stargate activating right now at this time. Second dimensional Stargate, really connected to the Seraphim Serpent Lines. This one's really connected to Hydra. This one's really connected to the Sirian star system. All of this activating the Bermuda Triangle as well. This Bermuda Triangle and the Bimini Islands, they really go hand in hand. They're over interlapping Stargate systems. This is Orion, this is Sirius, this is Hydra, this is everything that's connected to the Atlantean timeline and the Atlantean karmic clearing that we're getting through the Saturn retrograde. We're always like resurfacing that back up. I was honestly getting the messages that there's one main large Atlantean crystal that's at the bottom of the Bermuda or the Bimini. I don't know, maybe it's in between the two, but I was getting the messages that this isn't going to resurface, not even in the golden age. The records will be returned to humanity, but that this crystal will be continuing to clear even through the golden age. There's something with this that was being held for some reason. That's what I was kind of getting. The entirety of it is being withheld. And maybe it's just because it's so immense, it's so powerful that um, you know, even the planet has karmic lessons that she's rising up from, so to speak. And I think that this crystal holds some of that. And that's one of the reasons why it may not resurface until a coming of a second golden age or a second or another new earth after we get to new earth type of thing. So that's all happening. And also the United States clearing. 4th of July, we're going to be working on the grids. New Earth activations are coming through. We have the 12 solar sun disks in the North Americas and the 5 golden light cities as well as we kind of go through the activation of the Dove grid, peace, liberation, and freedom codes, and all of these beautiful things. So we're going to get into each one of these things more specifically. Once I get to the map, I'll probably pull up my map. But with the Saturn retrograde, how are you guys feeling? Did you guys feel the shift? Yeah, I think if anything, for me personally, it's pulling me into more refinement. I think overall, though, in terms of the collective, it's facilitating profound rebirth, right? Parental rebirth as well. However you see that, parental connections are rebirthing and cleansing a lot of the karma out, right? 10th dimensional Stargate, Abadan, Iran. Clearly, that Stargate is an deep ancestral clearing Stargate. So it's really running through the ancestral bodies, the immediate ancestral fields, the parental fields, and trying to assist with rebirthing of the collective humanity, helping us let go of karma and just everything that doesn't really resonate anymore. So that way we can make more of the shifts and the big changes that are going to be needed. I think it's a crucial time for also reviewing and resolving our past lessons. I mean, the planet's working on it, we're working on it collectively, we're working on it on an individual level. I think this is really important, with accountability and responsibility of things, right? We talk about how we can't heal ourselves until we step into accountability and responsibility for our life. Like we stop being like, oh, it's this person's fault that that happened. And, my luck, I'm just unlucky, or my life is out of my own hands, and da 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 da, and really reclaim the mastery within our lives. I think we can expect old relationships and unresolved issues to resurface if we're not doing those things, especially during a Saturn retrograde. So it really is offering us a chance to address the things that need to be healed, address the things that need to be cleared out of the emotional baggage that we carry. I think that it ensures that everyone receives also what they deserve based on their actions. I do feel like a Saturn retrograde will bring in somewhat of a planetary reaping, right? Because we go through periods of karmic justice during Saturn retrogrades as well. Again, why Orion stargates would be activating on the planet. I mean, it's just that they're holding some karma. Oh, I just tuned into it. It's has a lot to do with deception, a lot of deception around beliefs, religion, God constructs and concepts, and idealizations of particular God types, creator battles and God wars, essentially. A lot of this is getting cleared out. I'm really seeing it running through like the Zeus collective. Yeah, I can see the thunderbolt in Rome. It's running through Rome. So yeah, the karmic scales, so to speak, it's kind of like we have karmic scales of justice in the heart, but then we also have them in the 10th dimension. We have them in the oversoul star checking and balancing systems that is done on a higher dimensional level according to the oversoul. And so that karmic justice I feel is coming up collectively. So I think we have to expect that we could see um, more levels of confrontation. It could bring up quarrels and things like this, or communicate, or like difficulties in communication because, defensism, people not wanting to hear the truth, whatever it could be, but also discipline. So it's activating tact and discipline. So we may be challenged to just restore around these parts of ourselves and within our relationships, and also make more clearer boundaries in our relationships, to define boundaries, things that have been maybe bothering you for some time that you've just been sweeping up underneath the rug, and you're, you know, um, basically allowing certain things go by that you shouldn't for so long. Oh my goodness. Yes, this is huge. This is really big. I think for a lot of divine feminines, really, I hear this a lot, just the dissatisfaction in certain things, but sometimes maybe not the willingness to really face the truth around things, and having that deep sense of disempowerment, right? Like existing from this place of being disempowered. So I mean, Saturn makes you have to confront that, right? And find where you can be empowered again, find your alignment with empowerment so that way you can set those clear boundaries. This is really big with the Saturn retrograde. Accountability, responsibility, it's all key at this time. And so we have to, if you want to thrive during the Saturn retrograde, you have to stay disciplined. You have to stay disciplined, you have to stay true to yourself, and you have to stay in alignment to your gnosis and your needs. And also loving care with others, kind of like the tough love. It kind of activates more tough love in your relationships. Like you have to sometimes lay down the law, or you have to, bring some behavioral things to the table with someone that you love that have been going bad for a while, and you might be scared of the confrontation, but gosh, you'll see if you do these things, you move past the blockage, and it actually brings ease. So on some level, the Saturn retrograde is bringing us to push past things that have been blocked and heal and let go. So this is really an ideal time to tackle the deep-rooted fears of rejection and abandonment and push through those and just eliminate those blockages, eliminate the unhealthy behaviors and habits and boundary crossing in your life, unhealthy attachments to certain things. If anything's overwhelming your plate, like time to clean up your plate, time to get rid of addictions. Oh my gosh, right? Getting disciplined, self-disciplined, cut those addictions free, things that you know for a fact are just not good for you and hurting you. And this goes the same for your galactic and guardian relationships as well. The ultra terrestrials and the high angelic spirits of light, the virtues and the thrones and the seraphim and the Ophanim, the Orphan, these beings, the Arcturians, whoever it is you connect with, God's source, right? They connect with you when you're pure. They connect with you when you're not drowning in, superficial forms of consumption and self-destruction and things like this. They communicate with you more when your vessel is pure, when you're not bringing demonic spirits into your body in some way, right? This is kind of what addictions are. So yeah, I think it's good to reflect on the goals, because this is what we're being pushed to do over the next 5 months. I'll tell you, for me, it's been reform, it's been refinement, it's been upgrading, it's been working on my goals. This is what the 6-month business coaching package is all about. I think I put that down in the description. If any of you are wanting to come join me on that journey of focusing on spiritual business building and growth, now is the time, now through until December, technically, to anchor, work harder than you've ever worked before, and really step into that self-discipline. It's amazing what you can do when you get self-disciplined. And so I think it's going to bring just power. It's going to bring the growth you've been always wanting and waiting and looking for. You have you to thank, you have you to rely on. And so I see lots of clarity post 2024 going into 2025, lots of clarity to integrate in terms of our long-term vision and goals. And this is what we're working towards. So Saturn retrograde also brings a lot of patience and practicality. Patience and practicality. Just gonna check the comments again. I start talking, I start going, guys. Kelly says, it feels good to let go of distorted connections with people who can't accept boundaries. It does. And I think it's for you to kind of assess, right? With each individual, some people are worth working on behavior. Some people are worth working on learning boundaries with one another and respect. Some people, it's about trust, right? Like identifying like where people's trust levels are, like how much do they trust and are willing to trust and open up to trust. Some people don't respect boundaries because they just simply don't trust. And so there's, again, wounding and trauma, right? Some people can open up and flourish if they receive some kindness and some understanding and some trust, and then they can work through it. But then there's the people that you just know you just can't, you know what I mean? And you just have to clean house. So yeah. At the same time, the discipline of internal boundaries and discipline can land as I let go of the distorted connections. Yeah, sometimes we have to make space for new possibilities. They're moving away within the timeline separation. They're not writing the same timelines. That also is very important for growth. We talk about practicality. It's not necessarily practicality, but we talk about manifestation. Let's say that. In order to get to where you want to go, you have to be connected to something energetically, person, places, things, goals, visions, ideas that are above and beyond you, right? So if everyone you're connected to is kind of pulling a ball and chain. Like, yeah, you have to cut those people free. Through and through and through, we push through unto the reunion. Yeah. Love you too, Pia. Well, yeah, so the patience and practicality. Because also Saturn is the planet of time, right? And this might be a distorted program or interception itself with this connection point. I haven't fully decoded that entirely, but at least going back to Greece and Rome, I mean, that's what it's accredited to in astrology and things like this. So it could cause what feels like a delay when it comes to growth and progress. But really, it just wants us to slow down and just adopt a more patient, um, methodical, invested approach in how we handle things. Again, and also work hard. Like, know that universally speaking and energetically speaking, the things we water and nurture do grow. And the more you put your time and energy into anchoring something, the more that when the true harvest of good karma comes, the true harvest of abundance comes, because there is a planetary harvest of abundance that does come typically during the time of September, during the Virgo alignments. This is a time where if you've worked hard all year, you will get the influx of that, abundantly speaking, during those times, because it's just the time where the planet does reap her blessings, essentially. So we also receive those as well. And it's really about self-care as well. So while you're working really hard to stay disciplined, it's also really important that you are gentle with yourself. Okay, give yourself some mercy. You don't know how many times I have to tell people, like, has anybody seen the movie What About Bob? It's like this person who has self-diagnosed diseases and schizophrenia and all this stuff, and he has to act out the diseases to make sure he doesn't have them. Well, when he goes to the psychologist, he becomes just like attached and oblivious, technically stalker. But the psychologist gives him a prescription to take a vacation from his problems, so to speak. And so I kind of feel like that's what the elixir of mercy does for us. It can, I think, when you first bring it in, it soothes things in a way that you can, you know, the suffering is there. The misery is there. I mean, sometimes you can just put a pin in it. You can take a little vacation from it. You know what I mean? And take some time to give yourself some mercy, give yourself a break, have some gentleness, be less critical with yourself, especially during challenging times, especially during times where you have to, reform, refine, discipline, all of these things, right? Theo says September is when harvest season starts in nature in the northern hemisphere. So yes, as above, so below, as within, so without. I love September. I'll tell you, so I've had some amazing blessings come during September, things that are just unexpected and so fruitful and beautiful, whether it's like loving relationships and connections, whether it's financial abundance, whether it's network, deals, or just connection, just expansion, just lots of expansion and lots of beauty, lots of happiness, lots of bliss, lots of magic, lots of just, I feel like it's glorious. I feel like September is glorious. I love September. It's my favorite month, I think. September and October as well, because my birthday month is in October. But, and I love the changing of the seasons in October where you just feel the crispness come in, like you feel the crisp of fall and winter just a little bit. Like it feels like fall and winter both kind of introduce themselves in October, just like, are you paying attention? Because I'm coming. on a galactic, cosmic, and universal level, the Saturn retrograde is really helping us to clear the stuff that's coming out of the Orion Stargate. So let's put it this way. When you psychically remote view or tune into the health or quality of, especially the one I'm tuning into is Abadan, Iran. This one is seeping black goo. Okay, it's seeping black goo. It's also seeping toxins. It's seeping pollution, like it's polluted. Nuclear radiation, quantum nuclear radiation spills through that Stargate. There, also, there's rings of Saturn that are actually wrapping around that Stargate. Like it literally, like little etheric rings of Saturn, like multiple sets of them are running around and through the Stargate. You know, because some of these Stargates are directly, obviously Orion Stargates are directly a Saturnian command, right? They're going to command, react, respond to Saturnian movement. Hence forth the Saturn retrograde. This is bringing forth reversal violet ray plasma. Reversal violet ray plasma. This is meaning that like we have reversal codes running through the violet ray spectrum. So this is the hottest, most transformative ray spectrum on the planet used for high levels of spiritual enlightenment. It's really good to work on it with your crown chakra. It's worked on with and by and through the ascended masters, all of these things, right? But Saturn almost pollutes it, similarly to how the Archangel Michael ley line gets polluted, corrupted, and hijacked, right? We all know that that ley line. I mean, what isn't running off of that ley line? Let's just put it this way in terms of artificial, inorganic, cloned, planetary weapon systems, basically all of it. It's all counterfeited, superimposed, just hijacked. The ley line is essentially hijacked and it acts up more or less, or so to speak, at different timelines. Oh, wow. I was just running my energy through the ley line and I tuned into the Temple of Apollyon. So the Temple of Apollyon is located on the Archangel Michael ley line. This is, yeah, it through the Saturn retrograde activates, feels like I'm getting the Armageddon codes, destroyer codes, destruction codes. Now, I'm not saying this is gonna like run some sort of crazy, destructive geological upheaval to occur on the planet or something like this, but this is like where the seed codes are held. Um, I'm also seeing the Temple of Janus. This is in Rome as well. This is a part of the Orion Stargate activation, and this is the double-faced man, and this is a double gateway. This is a double Stargate passage gateway from Earth to Saturn. So there's space-time portal here through this one. And this is timekeepers. Yeah, I'm seeing robed timekeepers that are here. So on a cosmic level, yeah, this is bringing in so many things to simultaneously run. Also, we're clearing the black cubes. Yep, Saturnian black cubes. So there's like an atmospheric clearing, an auric clearing, a higher and lower astral clearing collectively within the planet speaking. That's clearing black cubes. Oh, for some reason, I'm seeing down to South Africa, around the tip of South Africa. There's a Stargate down there. It's clearing black cubes. All the Orion Stargates as well that I just mentioned. Yeah, black cube clearing over North America. Statue of Liberty. Definitely the boundary lines. Okay, I'm seeing the boundary lines of countries. Oh, wow. Ooh, this has hit me in the gut. So I know this one is big. I'm getting the borders of Mexico and Texas and yeah, the United States and Canada along the border. That's like where the bulk of the black cubes are and working to clear those. That will be something we'll do in the grid clearing. So yeah, be sure to join me, guys. Okay, I hope you're coming. I mean, we've had a few sign up already, and everyone also on my Patreon. So if you're at my Patreon, patreon.com/IndigoAngel, you will get access to all of my monthly gridwork sessions and all of the after hours parties that I do. After I do a live, sometimes I'll go over and do a little talk, an hour talk, kind of following up the discussion over on Patreon. And I leave that open for Zoomies. So if you want to come in and do the Zoom room with me, get into the topic of discussion with me, do you have additional intel to bring forward? Do you want to have some conversation with me about this and whoever else is coming to attend? So yeah, all of that's on my Patreon. And so that all can be accessed at the lowest tier, and that's my 1111 tier. So I think it's pretty affordable for what you get, honestly. 3-hour group remote session work once a month, all with very planned and focused and methodically put together grid clearings, that we share and like do this work together. So the next one we're doing is going to be the 4th of July. We're going to be 11 a.m. CDT time, Central Time. And I'm doing it in the morning because, I know people probably have family plans, people probably have stuff going on, and, are probably going to the fireworks later and all of this stuff. But I kind of feel like it's really the best thing you could be doing at this time. I mean, these are major gateways. I mean, the 4th of July is a major gateway. I mean, there's a lot that's gone down. I mean, the Declaration of Independence, we had presidents die on the 4th of July. I think 2 presidents died on 4th of July. I can't remember their names. I was looking at it last night. Drop it down in the comments if you know which 2 presidents died on 4th of July. Was it Jefferson? Somebody else. Um, mm. Missy says Hurricane Beryl is headed toward Cancun. They say Category 5. I did hear about that. I heard about that. Because I'm going to Texas, right? I'll be hosting this gridwork clearing from Texas. So I won't be hosting it from Pensacola. For some reason, randomly, you guys, I'm going to be pulled to Texas. So I'm actually leaving tomorrow. I'm driving down there. But yeah, I was picking up that the hurricane was initially heading for Texas, and there was some sort of shield, like a light dome that actually went over Texas, and it is altering the field so that way the hurricane doesn't impact Texas, which is interesting. So there's some major stuff going on there with Texas. We're gonna get into that. Um, Yeah, but the grid work on the 4th, so we're going to be realigning the United States grids. We're going to be working to create a more harmonious and balanced future according to the new Earth activations and how America is ushering in the new Earth. We're going to be activating the Dove grid. We're going to be activating the 12 solar discs in the North Americas, the 5 golden light cities. We're going to be working within clearing things as well, clearing the fiat and the taxation tyranny. We're going to be working on clearing out the empty value systems and resource systems. We're going to be working on the colonization trauma as well. There's a lot. This is what the Saturn retrograde is bringing in. The Saturn retrograde is bringing in our ability to reflect on these colonization traumas, right? Responsibility, accountability, um, seeing things that we haven't seen before, new perceptions, lies, clearing lies. And this is huge because I mean, we're coming up into the new presidential elections, which we need a lot of clearing around untruths here in the US, okay? We need to also, I think, put some sort of request out into the universe to get us out of this geriatric President Olympics BS we're watching. Like, oh my gosh, did any of you see the debate? Did anybody take the time out of your the very important things you have going on in your life to watch the debate? It was really sad. I mean, honestly, I think I cried and laughed a lot. It just, I cried because it was so sad and pathetic, and I laughed because it was like a joke. So, yeah, we need to call forth, I think, a true leader. We need to call forth the true spirit of change. We need to call forth somebody who genuinely honors the valuable principles of the United States and the Constitution, which I want to get into some of that. But um, I think we need to run an activation within all of this. Arizona says it was disgusting. It really was like just, I mean, with Biden, you know he's so old. So when he's like tripping over his words and when he's not able to really formulate good responses coherently, you're just like, gosh, he's so old. At the same time, it's like, well, get him out of there, like somebody just, I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do. He says Indy for president. No way. I mean, I do think that a female president would be interesting, but that's what they're trying to do, right? They say, I think Evie brought this up. They're trying to utilize the 25th amendment against Biden. The 25th Amendment against Biden to basically usher in Kamala Harris, the vice president, to take over. And we all don't want that. None of us really like Kamala. She's, you know, apparently she's a man, you know. There's a lot of stuff about that going around that Kamala's a man. Michelle Obama is a man. It was wild. You still think it's him. He's literally a puppet. Well, when they first walked out, I thought they were robots. I genuinely like the way that they were blinking was kind of weird. I think the way that the Biden's facial expressions are motorized almost, like the blinking of his eyes and stuff. He has like a motorized vibe. And so yeah, to me, they could very well be cyborgs, cloned cyborgs. Yeah, that sounds right. That feels right. And then replace Kamala with Michelle. Yeah. Well, I do know that. I mean, I think the Obamas were definitely more liked. I think they were more liked, but not by everyone. But it seemed like they had a little higher of a collective approval in terms of how people felt about them. I think the Democrats I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to bring in Michelle Obama if we don't see her at some point. But yeah, I think this is something for the grid work, right? The grid work itself is ceremonial. The grid work itself it's manifesting, it's ritualistic. There's so much prayer and meditation and focus that goes into it. So, yeah, I think we definitely need to clear some things around the distortion, the deception, the archontic takeovers and tactics and behaviors of our politicians. We need to clear the Anunnaki and Draconian and Aquilan faction contracts in the US, Willy Wonka. Like, we need to clear all of this. We need to clear a lot of this. And this is really what the Washington, D.C. grid worker trip was about when we went, was we worked on a lot of this. We worked on a lot of um collapsing down those distortions, just doing the boots on the ground mission that we did there. And so we cleared the White House. Um, we ran it basically through all the main 5 points, the 5 Masonic 5 points in the grid. We ran it through the White House, through Lafayette Square, Washington Circle Park, Dew Point Circle, Logan Circle, and Mount Vernon Square. We cleared reversals, Washington D reversals, black hole systems, underworld systems, wormhole systems, all the inverted Freemason hijacking that was going on there. And this is stuff we'll probably include in the US 4th of July one as well, clearing the Great Global Unholy Trinity, London, Vatican, Washington, D.C., the strongholds of the seals as well. There's a seal system that's stuck, and I just seen this last night as I was tuning into it. There's a seal system that's stuck in DC running into Virginia and then to South Carolina, Charlottesville, South Carolina. The Freemason, it's like a Trinity Freemason seal system that's hijacked in there. Yeah, Draco seals, J seals, all of it. The negative Saturn matrices and labyrinths and strongholds over DC and the United States, all of the stuff that they're doing in terms of Pizzagate, all of that stuff, the pedodontia stuff, all of that stuff for profit. Yeah, that's all going to be a part of this grid work clearing as well. We're going to bring it all in. It's going to be full round, you guys. I really hope that you come. The link is down in the description. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share with you guys and pull up some of my pictures that I have. I just pulled up a couple pictures yesterday. This one that I'm going to show you is my thumbnail. Give me just a sec. Okay. Let's just do a sound check, a mic check, and can everybody see me okay still? Put a 5x5 on the video. Just let me know we are good. So this was my thumbnail for today's video. This is highlighting really what's going on in terms of the energetic transformation with the US. 5x5. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. So, this is significant. This is pretty significant. I've talked about the Dove Grid before. I think in 2022, we went into the Dove Grid quite a bit. But essentially, this is representing the ancient land of the dove. So the ancient land of the dove, this is the prophecy in the processes of the coming of the new earth, right? It's a journey through our time. It's the journey of transformation, of enlightenment. It's the journey of going from a level 0 to level 1 civilization. It's the process of the light fabrics in which build the consciousness field for the realities to manifest themselves. And so basically, this one it was originally held in Australia. So let me go to this picture. Actually, I don't have, this one's not showing up for some reason. Okay, we'll go to this one. So this one it was originally held in Australia before it was hijacked. So the origination of it comes from Mu, and it comes from the Lemurian times when These were ancient knowledges and wisdom that were held by the indigenous, the ancient Anangu people, the original seeded 24 chromosomal Pleiadians, and the serpent cults of this time. Like they held the sacredness of the dove templating, the dove light matrices, right? It was in Australia before it was hijacked. And you can find the references to the original Dove grids and the J.J. Hertek books, the Book of Knowledge, the Keys of Enoch. This system was brought forward, so to speak, under the Yahweh Father principle. Okay, but I want to make it clear that this doesn't belong to any human principle, technically, or any, even like it belongs to the God source creator. It doesn't belong to any tainted or destructed or demonized human principle. It is an organic celestial light matrix free of ownership. Okay. To put this in perspective, let me see if I can find my other picture really quick here, because I feel like this is going to be important for just like reference. I haven't put it in the slide, so to speak, but maybe I can just upload it quickly here. But this is a version of, okay, let's see, let's set it as background. Okay, okay. Well, this is one that I channeled. So this is kind of the templating of the light matrix, free and clear, technically, of the hijacking globally, right? This is free and clear because it's already expanded out of the North Americas. This is me having channeled that regardless of the confinements of Australia and the US, so to speak, if that makes sense for you guys. So this is it not confined to any particular location. So it was originally in Australia, and then it moved into, they moved it into the United States, basically. So this is where it is here. And this is where it's going to basically rebirth itself and expand to become this fully embodied, planetarily speaking, if that kind of makes sense. So because it was kind of hijacked under this Yahweh Father principle, it's been running since the fall of man programming. This is kind of when it came in or when it intercepted and when it was installed. So when this was installed, they basically staged an invasion of the earth. That's what happened. This did run through the Elohim, the fallen Elohim, even the fallen Seraphi Elohai. Okay, it all came through because everything fell technically, right? So now that's a programming in itself as well. This is another form of the archontic deception. But this led to the formation of what is considered the negative aliens or the service to self races hybridized and disguised through those black nobility lines, through the Willy Wonka, through the monarchy, you name it. It was orchestrated by the invader race lines basically to prepare humanity to worship false idealizations of these particular gods, right? Such as Yahweh and Jehovah. This is where we get like all of the J seals, the Jehovah and Anunnaki. Um, this is kind of this is what I mean about the God Wars and like why this is coming up through the Saturn retrograde and the Orion Stargate activations is a lot of this is coming through to clear what has been perpetrated through deception, through archon deception, through human worship, satanic ritual abuse offerings, drinking the blood of things, sacrificing humans, babies, animals. This was really done under and through most of this through the eye of Yahweh or through the eye of Jehovah. They manipulated light to create false holograms and run it through synthetic timelines, basically, to enforce all of the domination. This is just one of the ways it's come through. It's not all of it, but this is just one of the avenues in which has presented itself through mind control techniques, basically, and the development of dark matter. Basically, it's dark matter. But this is where they altered humanity's collective mind over generations, right? And erased things through continual consciousness wiping, through continual running of particle accelerators, through soul recycling, reincarnation harvesting, and matrix traps, right? They don't want you to know that there are organic matrix source field light templates, okay, that run the restoration living current of light through the globe, through the body, through where it will first emerge in the United States. This is deeply connected. What was done with this, the covering up of the dove and even the swan templates, there's other templates, the original mother grid, the original organic intelligence field, all of these things. They've tried to damage this through the Metatronic reversals, right? It's technically genetic damage because they're implants that are imposed into the DNA. So it runs genetic mutation and manipulation and damage. This is what the Lyran Wars were. And I don't know if we make that correlation or that association so much. We forget about that, right? So if someone says, I was a part of the fall of Lyra, my memories, my Akashic records, my gene code goes back to the fall of Lyra, they're basically saying, I was enslaved. I am a refugee race in line. I was basically my DNA was manipulated and altered. And there was the great separation also that occurred from Andromeda as well. So it was originally connected, the universal 12th gate sphere was originally connected to Andromeda. And when that separated, it brought in the fall of Lyra as well. So it's tied to really what I think locked in the bulk of the reversal codes in terms of the entire Milky Way and all of the planets, right? And when I had talked about seeing the enslavement codes running through all of the planets, right? It's all binded and connected. It all affected it affected the planetary war, essentially, that led to the distortions. So, and I think this was represented by the Yahweh systems. This in turn correlated to Saturn, the black cube matrix, and everything that was siphoning everything through this. So, yeah, it's a big deal with the Saturn retrograde because Saturn is the solar seventh gate in terms of what it's doing to us of our ascension and our individual processes on a bigger level of the planetaries energy. It's emitting the reverse violet rays plasma spectrum, distorting the light on the Earth. And we can see this now. We can see this because these organic systems are going to happen regardless. Like they're going to push through because it's just a part of the new Earth development. And these things have to be seen and the constructs ultimately have to collapse. What that has to collapse through this reversal violet ray spectrum is the impalement of the crucifixion implants. This is going to need to dissolve those entirely. Persecution, crucifixion, stigmata, and martyrdom. Okay, all along the planet's axial tonal lines, like a deeper cleansing of this. Also, this is going to work to collapse down black hole systems because black hole systems are powered by Saturn. So the Yahweh system ultimately connects back to the black hole system, originating from the black star of the center of our Milky Way, known as Abaddon. And this is why it all connects. It all connects. So really, this return to the North Americas of the dove, this is super significant. This is super significant because it means that the J-sail pylon network that runs on the north horizontal 30-degree ley line and 70-degree west, that those are working to be dissolved and decoded more. It's going to send a clearing through the original dove that was encoded to the motherlands of Mu and other Stargate systems such as Hydra, Sirius, and Cygnus as well. These templates will run a clearing through what was hijacked through those systems, holding the most ancient indigo records on the Earth, going back all the way to indigo Neanderthal. That's going to be released. Okay, that's going to come back through the initiation of the dove grid. And the dove is going to bring forward the swan templating to me. Now, this is significant for the US, okay, because the dove and 4th of July and what we're doing in terms of the grid clearing, this is held in America because America is a great focus of light for the global Earth refinement. So America represents the torchbearers, the people who hold the light for the rest of the world. America will be one of the first to experience the changes of the new Earth shifts, showing the rest of the world how to overcome darkness. The dove represents hope, freedom, prosperity, and liberation, moving from one age and shifting into the next. It represents the shift into the next. America was already this beacon. It already was that during the search for new land. Okay, during the 1700s, 1600s, the British colonization, right? It was already that. America represented that in the times of past, guiding people away from the old. So America has always been the new earth. America has always been the new land that represents hope, freedom, and future. And so as the dove expands, it will become this again on a bigger global stage of light. Thank you, Jim. Jim says this is important information. Like and share, guys. Thank you. Yes, share this out to your like-minded Ascension friends. Put a big like on this video. Comment in the chat, but also if you can, comment under the video as well. Leave a comment there just to support the content more. And be sure to subscribe, hit the notifications bell. You know, I'm always dropping, I think, very brain busting content. Let's just put it that way. I'm here to expand consciousness. Okay, whether I'm doing it linguistically, but I really focus on the expansion of consciousness through my language. It's one of my focuses and it's one of my purposes in terms of my mission work and how I go about doing it. So yeah, the content on my channel it's very expanded, but it's very in alignment to New Earth, as I do consider myself to be a vision holder of the New Earth. And so I love to break down these processes for you guys. But staying on the dove here, this is, it comes back up during tumultuous times, right? Saturn retrograde, maybe more of a tumultuous time for those that are on the descending timelines. You're gonna basically, you know, kick and scream to survive through that timeline, basically. But there are many zones of destruction and migration that have occurred in the planetary records, going all the way back to ancient Lemuria. So the emergence and the resurface of the dove grid will clear a lot of the original Dark Brotherhood takeovers that led to the original hybridization traumas, forced breeding programs, sterilization programs, tearing apart of the fifth dimensional souls, twin flames, 144,000 displacement, the oppression of the matriarchal tribes and timelines as well. Basically, the demonization of Hydra, the genocide of the descendants of Mu, and the horrific atrocities that the Lemurians also faced, and the demonizing again of the serpent cults that led to widespread suffering. So that it's like all these old things kind of the records are returned, and then the clearing and the dissolving happens through the dove. And it's also going to clear the artificial time warps that are placed in the third and fourth dimensional fields. It's also going to dissolve a lot of the galactic web karma because a lot of people don't know, but basically a lot of this was hijacked by the Galactic Federation and things like this. Um, they've kind of twisted the meanings of these things, especially through just the propaganda that they push. It was incepted through, I think, crucifixion wounds. Crucifixion wounds and implants were also incepted through the Galactic Federation because of the way that they play out the continued karma into the galactic web. So it's going to break down and dissolve the galactic contention and warfare, and it's going to help people to see that galactic consciousness is peaceful coexistence. So that's what gets upgraded. And the human hybrid traumas are what have twisted the meanings of these things, incepting human dramas into cosmic history. So that also needs and has to dissolve. For instance, the galactic Orion invasion that has fallen in the 3D and 4D artificial time warps. So this is like stuck in a loop cycle, basically. And this will assist with the opening of the Earth chambers to shift the dove consciousness to the Americas for the Dove Grid awakening. Right? Do you see how Orion's so connected to this? So yeah, hence why this is a powerful Orion Stargate awakening at this time, aligned with the Saturn retrograde. I think it's just a beautiful opportunity to really collapse down what's negative, tainted, and corrupted. So it's time to reclaim the Dove Grid, you guys. It's time to restore peace and spread freedom codes across the earth. And it's all very exciting. Uh, I want to talk about, so let me get over to my map. Actually, you know what? I have one more thing I want to show you with this one. So let's talk a little bit really quickly too about when we talk about the US grid clearing that we're going to be working on. We have to know where stuff came from, right? For us to like clear the energy. The British are the ones who brought forth the draconian taxation tyranny. Okay, this came through the Brits that began with the earned profits on colonial trade. So when they all came over here. I feel like that in itself is a dirty truth that we don't want to look at, that our federal systems, basically, our US systems, they're built upon the previous organizations of the United Kingdom. The United States, why do you think we're called the United States? The United Kingdom, United States. I mean, we are like, it's kind of like we're like a clone, like a sub, even though we are like our own independence, like we still have we still incorporated their draconic law. So we incorporated their draconic taxation. I think it's a dirty truth we just don't want to look at, but we didn't like invent our own. Let's just put it this way. And so everything that we have to clear in terms of the monetary system and everything that has to change, we have to understand that it's because of the monarchy royalty bloodline. Okay, and it's connected to the albino reptilian draconic line. And I think it's very obvious. I mean, this picture here, this is the coat of arms of the House of Wessex, also known as the House of Cerdic, the House of the West Saxons, and the Welsh and the red, and this one's blue dragons, but there's also white dragon lines. So this is red and blue. I think the red and the white would be these would be factions of the Draco reptilian bloodlines, essentially. So I think we're watching all of this play out right through the bloodlines in which we're still connected to in terms of the systems in which are governing our collective here. And I mean, we can only verify this even more. We've talked about the forced breeder programs playing out right in front of us, right? Through Princess Diana and Princess Kate Middleton. You know, these are the most severe forced breeder programs we've ever seen play out because they're literally disposing of the mothers. I mean, this is classic Draco reptilian behavior. There's so much pointing to them with being of these lines. This is what I mean about accountability and responsibility, with understanding that the colonization trauma that we've acquired has directly come through Alpha Draco reptilian bloodlines that have established our Willy Wonka, okay, and the taxation system, right? That in itself, taxation goes against natural law. This is some stuff that was broken down to me the other day, and I'll probably slaughter it trying to break it down to you guys. But as I'm like rubbing my pineal here, I'm like, help me talk about this. Um, the natural law is any sort, or like it's an act against natural law because any sort of act against taking somebody else's like life resource energy, taking somebody else's earnings is theft. It's technically theft. And theft is one of the main um acts against divine will. Like it's literally acts against God. It's literally acts against natural order and natural law in terms of like well-being of life force energy, right? So the taxation system goes against these things. This is why it's so twisted. It's so twisted when it comes to the draconian law and how it's been built in to make you believe that these things are there to support us, but it's actually there to feed off of us. So there's, again, the deception, and this is what is dissolving essentially. Um, so I just wanted to bring this up. I felt like this was something that was relative to truths that will come forward as we activate more of the dove grid. And also, one thing that we'll be using for the grid work is the crystal wheel technology. So this was something I wanted to bring up with you guys as well, was I don't have any pictures of this, but in the grid work, we're going to be utilizing crystal wheel technology. This was something that has been being given to me by a friend who has a connection with some of the people who actually developed them. It's a technology that was from the Atlantean time. And they're developing it in Germany, basically. And this is crystal wheel technology. And this is where we can run clearings through the use of crystal power. It's a form of free energy, and it activates the crystal wheels to, I guess, clear the timelines and clear the manifestation fields that are around something particularly. So we're getting more downloads at this time about Atlantean crystal tech and how to utilize it. So this is another cool thing we'll be bringing in for the grid work. Okay, so let's just go to my charted map. There she is. There's the beautiful United States. I am just in love with this map right now. It just has so many awesome things on here to talk about. Indy got that natty law. Thanks, Theo. It is something I want to start um, learning more about. gosh, I seen an interview on, gosh, well, I think it was Decentralized TV. Does anyone watch Decentralized TV on Brighteon.com? But they had Mark Passio on their channel as a guest, and I've never like listened to him before, but I got stuck on it the other night, and he was talking about natural law. He's broken down. I guess he has this whole thing he's decoded with natural law. So I might look into some of more of his research, but it seemed to be, you know, he was the one making some of these points essentially. Okay, so what I've picked up on, let's just look at the United States here. Let's tune into this. So I put a little star on Houston because I'm going to be going to Houston for the grid work. We're going to be doing it live from Houston. And this ley line here is pretty significant. That's running all the way over to Basra, Iraq. Let me just tune out so you can see this here. So from Houston, there is a horizontal ley line that's running all the way to Basra, Iraq. And this is significant because it's a sister city, essentially, to Houston, Texas. So sister cities mean that they share the same horizontal ley line, which is significant because Basra, Iraq, is the economic capital of Iraq. So this means that all of the Middle Eastern oil, okay, and the finances, the dark money that's rolling through the corrupted money, all of this is basically running through the economic capital of Basra, Iraq. That prioritizes that monetary values of oil and gas and wealth. It's located next to Stargate 10 in Abadan, Iran. So I'll just zoom in a little bit here so you can see this. Basically, yeah, it's not too far off. The Abadan Iran Stargate sits on the Iran border, and they're like literally right next to each other. So that means that this grid clearing, this US grid clearing that we're doing, we're going to be really working to clear the 29th and the 30th parallel. It's just below the 33rd. And it makes sense that most of the chaos, destruction codes, and corruption would hang on for dear life right below the 33rd parallel, right? This Stargate is ruled by the futile Odedicron reptilian Orions. Okay. And so from the anchor point in Houston, we can really work to clear the most blocked Orion Stargate on the planet. We can clear this in accordance to it being the sister city. And we can clear this and the influence that it has in terms of that financial corruption on the United States. And we can clear the weighted higher chakra on Earth, the blocked oversoul star chakra in the planet, bearing the grief of the ancestral degradation in the familial bloodlines of the reptilian, Orion, Anunnaki kinds and creeds. So this really is going to activate and bring up some compassion codes because the clearing does actually have to clear through those reptilian, Orion, Anunnaki bloodlines. We have to clear it through the bloodlines because that's where the ancestral war lies, according to that Stargate and according to the oversoul of the planet. Releasing the black goo, releasing the reversed violet ray spectrum from the Saturnian karma and how it's affecting the rest of the globe. So this is going to be, I think, a really significant aspect in the US grid work that we do to clear this ley line. Also, the Sarasota Stargate as well just sits like a little bit below that parallel. Even the Bermuda and the Bimini Islands, right? All of this down here, all of these major Stargate systems. So we think about the contention zone of the planet, the destruction zone on the planet. Like this would be really within the thick of a lot of that. Okay, and these are the stargates that would be powered and affected by it technically. But what's kind of occurring in the United States according to the new Earth evolving, and I'll explain what these yellow stars are all over the US here, is the process of how this actually happens, right? So, new Earth will begin to emerge. The activation of the dove grid and the light grid, that's kind of like the base fabric to all of this. Then it's going to go through processes of activating certain mechanics within the land consciousness, within the mantle, within the vortices and gateways and passageways that will bring forth power generators to assist the growth. So, new Earth emerging will also come from the 12 satellite sun disks in the North America. The new Earth events and prophecies that may happen to signal the activation of these sun disks will be seen by a series of events of prophecies that will also occur as well. One of the potentials is that we may see fire that is burning in the heavens. So we literally look up to the celestial firmament and we'll see fire. Another thing that might occur is a meteor shower. A meteor shower that would occur simultaneously all over the world. These are all prophetic signals that the shifts are coming. They do have like an Armageddon like templating to it, but it's all a part of the Terra reformation process because some geological upheaval will occur that will shift the activations of these things going into the future. This is 12,000 CE prophecy. Another thing that may occur is that there could be a fireball that hits the planet. And if this occurs, it's predicted according to prophecy to hit North America, right? Signaling change. Like North America is where it will all ratify, rectify, and happen basically, where the prophecy will ignite itself. So this would strike somewhere in Nevada is where it's predicted to happen, somewhere in Nevada. And then that forth would bring forth things that would continue to activate those disks in the land that would emerge the new Earth in the 12 satellite sun disks in the North America. So these are charted below. Now, the largest one and where it would initiate, would initially be Mount Pinnacle in Arkansas, which is this one here. So kind of at the center of it for the 12 sun disks, is it would initiate here. This is significant. This one, and these ones are kind of like the heart of the emergence of the dove grid field, basically. I'm going to explain. These ones are golden light cities that will emerge, and this one is the golden heart activation that occurs where the dove ignites, basically. Now, this synchronistically is sitting on the vertical ley line that goes down to Houston. This heart is where the dove expands out of America, basically. This is where the dove like premieres itself, where it like the light grid initially expands. So, but it starts with the Pinnacle Mount in Arkansas. Okay, and so each one of these stars here are representing where these 12 sun disks are located. There is one in Hawaii. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Okay, there's one in Hawaii, there's one in Denali, Alaska, there's one in Lake O'Hara, BC, Canada, there's one in Mount Shasta, Needle Rock, Colorado, Chichen Itza, Yucatan in Mexico, Monte Alban in Mexico, offshore also in the Gulf of Mexico near Galveston, next to the Texas Trio Pyramid Complex, the Bimini Islands. I also feel Bermuda Triangle is in this as well, but I just don't have it. It's marked as like a dark one here, but I do think it's also connected as a sun disk. We also have Asheville, North Carolina, Herkimer, New York, and Grosse Morne, Newfoundland, and Canada. Now, I did not channel these myself. I just charted them, but these locations were channeled by a guy named James Tiberone. And also this information was provided to me through Missy Hill. So thank you so much, Missy, for giving me all of this, which, by the way, Missy Hill will join me live on the 4th of July. After the US grid clearing gridwork mission that we do, we're going to kind of jump on and have a beautiful sister roundtable discussing US history and just everything that kind of came through in the grid work. So be sure to join me on 4th of July, 2 p.m. CDT for that live. Set your reminder, put a like on the video, do all the stuff and just come join me, because we're going to kind of get into what energies are connected to all this as we explore this a little bit deeper in the gridwork mission itself. But essentially, so after these 12 sun disks activate in terms of prophecy, we'll then go into the locations of the golden cities that emerge in the United States. So the next phase of this would be the golden light cities, which are all charted here in these locations. And the golden light cities are in accordance to Lori Adele Toy's work from her IamAmerica.com maps, which she charted the locations of the 5 prophesized golden light cities that will emerge in the United States. So they're in locations as Montana, Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, and Georgia. So the 12 sun disks are definitely connected to the emergence of the golden light cities. And each one of these golden light cities, these will be cities that basically they have specific spiritual attributes. Each one of them has very profound, sacred spiritual virtues in which they will imbue to the collective that emerge from the United States. And these attributes will form the soul heart identity of the new earth race lineages that reside here. So the teachers in the cathedrals of learning within the golden light cities will impart these attributes to people who are of new earth consciousness. And those seeking to embody a particular spiritual attribute, they'll have to travel to these light cities that are corresponding those attributes in the golden light cities to retrieve the codes. So at some point, Montana, Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, and Georgia, they're going to become power stations of new earth that represent the building of the coming of these timelines. Okay, and so it's going to be a lot that's happening, but I mean, this is all coming forward because the dove is activating. So those of you who are vision holders, we're going to be getting more clarity as to these truths, as to what's occurring, as to what's coming forward, and how the mechanical processes are beginning to unfold, essentially. Again, I couldn't explain to you guys why I was being guided to go to Houston, Texas. It was so sudden. It was very sudden. Essentially, I got the call and it was just like, do you want to come to Houston? And I was like, sure. So I'm getting moved over there, and it's to essentially activate this particular ley line, which at the heart of this, let's see, we're right in Kansas City. So the expansion of the dove is going to emerge right around Kansas City. Okay, and you can see how this then is going to activate these golden light cities here that begin the expansion. Now, this is all future though. Everything we're doing in terms of this US grid clearing is going into the future timelines of 12,000 CE, because these processes, it's like we are fortifying the passageways of these timelines and realities to usher them in, basically, for the new age and for the new earth transformation to occur. Isaac says, wait, are you moving to Houston, Texas? I thought you were visiting for grid work. No, I'm just visiting for grid work. Yeah. I'm going for about 4 days, a quick drive. Arkansas. Yes, Arkansas is going to be, this is going to be the main solar sun disk. This is going to be the largest one. This is actually sitting on, It's called Mount Pinnacle. Mount Pinnacle. I actually have a picture of it. This is where the first and largest sun disk will basically emerge from underneath this mountain. I seen some pictures of it earlier and they're not on here, but basically, if you had like X-ray vision or holographic vision, you can actually see the sun disk up underneath this mount. Um, it's literally like a circular sun disk. It's huge. It's very radiant and vibrant, and it contains copper metals. It contains like radiant, just like radiant alchemical compositions, meteorite type and solar-based compositions that activate the templating to run up underneath. So that is here. And this is where the first sun disk basically will manifest itself, and then it's going to run through all of the other 12 points. So that's what all of these other stars are here. Yeah, we have them all charted here. Pinnacle being the first one, then Kauai as well. Again, and hence the Gridwork remote mission that we're doing down in Kauai, why it's so important. It's a part of this new Earth activation, which we're still enrolling till the second week of July. So if you are going to attend that mission with us, you want to submit your enrollment and registration basically now. Now is the time. Also, we have Denali as well. Where's this one at? This one is in Alaska, Lake O'Hara. This one is Mount Shasta, Needle Rock, Chichen Itza in the Yucatan, Monte Alban in Mexico. This one's sitting under an ancient city. This one is amazing, like incredible. This one is the Galveston in the Gulf, Bimini Islands, also the Bermuda Triangle, Asheville, North Carolina, Herkimer, New York, Gros Morne in Canada. And then we have from there, then it activates the Golden Cities. So then it's a Golden City activation all the way around. I think that the Sarasota Stargate in Florida will also power the Dove grid to manifest itself. So there is definitely a lot of energy. Oops, my line just came in. Let's delete that. Basically, the energy is probably going to run up like this. So that Stargate's going to activate. It's going to activate the awakening point of the Dove. And it's also going to run energy into this point in Houston. And that's also going to run this energy up to the point of the Dove as well. So it's a huge new Earth system that's happening, right? I think you have to use a lot of your visualization and the imagery of your mind to be able to see the full picture of this. But those of you who are on that new Earth visionary quest, I know you're going to get this and understand these processes that are occurring. Yeah, and Evie says run energy through the star forts as well. The star warts. um, it's right. Well, there is a lot of clearing energetically that has to come off of the star forts, basically, because in terms of US history, I think a lot of the war contention in terms of one of the most bloodiest wars that actually occurred here initially before the draconian law and taxation basically came upon the US was the 7-Year War. I think it was the bloodiest war that we've ever seen on the US lands, was the 7-Year War that happened between the French and the Indian. And this is one thing that in terms of trauma and colonization pain, where we have to focus in terms of the star forts to clear the energy off and out of the star forts. Because a lot of these star forts were initially made and designed to um, they were defense systems. When we talk about spiritual planetary defense systems, the star forts are a network of defense systems. So they hold all of the defensive energy of having to protect ourselves from war, genocide, slaughter, colonization. So all of the trauma is technically held in the star forts in terms of war codes running in the US. So yeah, that's one thing that will need to be cleared in terms of the expansion of the dove, according to the US Gridwork Clearing, according to the 12 solar discs that we're going to be activating, according to the 5 golden cities of light that will be activated in the US, all of that. And all of the star forts, I mean, there's like 9 or 10 of them that are all along, even where I'm located, there's a star fort, maybe like 15 minutes from where I'm located down in Fort Pickens. And then they go all the way over to Texas, technically. So we have to, yeah, clear the really, truly, I think the mission of clearing the US grids, this is just the beginning of it. I think it started with the trip to Washington, D.C. Every 4th of July, it's more deeper work for us to do as grid workers to work, especially when ceremonial ritual times like holidays initiate and reactivate the trauma wounds to come back up and play through. Not only, again, satanic harvest and looshing that they're doing on the collective, that they're reaping, negatively reaping into the Abaddon ley line and gate system on the Archangel Michael ley line. But, you know, they could be reaping through the Orion stargates as well. It's just a matter of we know that the Orion stargates are clearing and they're bringing forward these truths for us to see them. So we have to clear and work through the Orion stargates, knowing that that one in Abaddon, Iran is the most blocked. I think if we focus at the source of the detriment, okay, we can focus on all of the other things that have to be cleared and healed, which is important, but we have to also go to the blocked source. So can we sign up for the 4th of July day? If anyone can drop down in the comments the link for the 4th of July mission, yes, there is a small $44 fee, and that is to it's kind of like the container and the facilitator fee, basically. And that's for, or you can join on my Patreon as well. Patreon.com/IndigoAngel. So the membership deal is actually better because it's $11.11 to join. Or I offer the one-time drop-in as well. But that's for the time and the energy and the organization around this, because all of this has been thoroughly, you know, basically put together. So we're doing everything in accordance to new earth alignment. And all of that has taken a lot of my time and work and effort to bring forward this perfected mission that we can really, I think, make the biggest difference. And these sessions are long. I mean, this is a 3-hour session. You guys are locked in with me for 3 hours. Basically, yes. So I hope to see you there. Even if you don't have grid work experience, I think you very quickly find out how you can contribute to the work. And I think you very quickly align with the process of grid work. If you're not familiar with grid work, I do have a Gridwork Facilitation course 1 and 2 that I offer that also teaches if you feel unsure and you want to learn more about grid working before you participate. But honestly, you don't have to do that before you participate. I would say within 2 to 3 grid work remote sessions, you very quickly get up to speed to understand the processes of everything that's implied in it, right? It also significantly enhances your psychic abilities as you do group work, container work, remote mission work, remote viewing work in a shared collective mind field and a collective container. It upgrades your abilities like significantly very quickly. Also, when you align to other people's fields that have very expanded psychic abilities, it turns all of yours on immediately just from aligning to that person's field. So that's kind of what you're getting in the experience itself as well. There's a lot of benefits to this. I could go through a whole list of them, but it's extremely beneficial. for the advancing starseed, for the advancing grid worker, right? So, yeah. And another thing that's really interesting about all this as well is the after hours roundtable live that we're doing with two divine sisters that are located in Virginia and South Carolina. So this is actually very significant as Virginia was one of the first states, I believe, that um, was colonized. It was the first state of the 13 original colonies, Virginia was. I'm just going back up to, I'm just looking on my computer here for a second. So, yeah, it's significant because on that roundtable, one of the sisters is going to be from Virginia, and one of my other sisters is from South Carolina. Both of these states are really important to that seal system that I told you is running there. There's a seal system from DC to Virginia to South Carolina that has to be cleared in terms of the Freemason hold and control, right? Because Washington, because everything was established under Freemasonry. Okay. And it's significant because the seal system is in Arlington and Charleston. And it's basically anchoring the Freemason energy into the Masonic, because the first Masonic Scottish Rite and Lodge was founded in Charleston, and also in Virginia. This was the beginning of it and the control of it over our money system. This is when the black magic spells basically began in the US. And so we basically have to clear that seal system and clear the dark monetary system around that as well. So it's going to be interesting, everything that comes up. I'm excited so much to share. I'm excited to dive into the work. I'm excited for 4th of July. It's going to be a big day for all of us. And just know that I love you all so much. I can't wait to dive in, and I'll see you on the 4th. So have a beautiful everything, you guys. Namaste. I love you all so much.